When I Hide My Caste by Baburao Bagul. When the difficulties visited upon me after I conceal my caste come to mind, memory ignites a furnace in my heart. My head begins to ache as if it is about to burst. In this luck-forsaken country, human beings should not be born as a Dalit. If and when they are, they must bear such a sorrow, such a disrespect as would make death seem an easier option. Making a cup of poison a Dalit's best friend, for even nectar rots in one's heart, and what is left is rage, sharper and more cruel than a sword. This is the extent of the mental and emotional atrocities that I had to bear. If I had continued to live there, continued to hide my caste, the anxiety would have driven me mad. And so it was a good thing that I come to Mumbai for one night of play day at Ramcharan Tiwari's home. I was robbed, and one of the thieves had announced that I had been hiding my caste, and Ramcharan Tiwari beats me to his heart's content, and Kashinath Sakpal saved me from that immense rage. This is how it come about. At first light, I got down at Udna station and was walking to the engine shed. The joy of having got a job had made my mind as frisky as spring, as brave as rain. This sense of well-being had left me with no fear of anyone. No man was stranger. I had not a care in the world. I was sure that every word I spoke would bring victory. Every step I took would bring a spring of fresh water sprouting from the ground. For I had spent the night in the train, dreaming up a wonder world of happiness. So there I was, flowing like a morning breeze, when I saw a group of workers in front of me and called out to them, bringing them to an abrupt halt. From among them, boiler fitter Ranchod asked in Gujarati, "What's up, brother?" In chaste and elegant Gujarati, I introduced myself. Ranchod was immediately ready to rent me a room, and the workers with him began to look at me with admiration. They were talking in with a look of awe, my coat, topi, dhotar, Kolhapuri slippers, the book of Mayakovsky's poem in one hand, and the trunk to which my bedding was tied. The respect on all their faces, their curiosity, all this added to the joy I felt in getting a job. My mind filled with this happiness was like a woman dreaming of her lover. I could have got lost in all this happiness, but then, in a hesitant voice, Ranchod asked, "But what is your caste?" I roared like a thunderclap on hearing this. "Why do you ask me my caste? Can you not see who I am? Me, I am a Mumbaikar. I fight the good fight. I gave my life in the defense of the right. I have freed India from the bondage, and I am now her strength. Got that? Or should I go over it again? Do you want it in verse?" Still buoyed up by my joy, I growled and walked on. For my mind, dream struck, was already racing ahead of me. Behind me, I could hear the pair of them muttering to each other. "Are Ranchod," said Devji, "don't let this one get away. Don't lose the rent. He is a Marathi Manos, and a fearless one too, possibly a Brahmin, maybe Kshatriya. Call him back. Go, run after him." But bruised by my attack, Ranchod would not come near me. He asked Devji to approach me on his behalf. Listening to his frightened chattering, I felt that all these people seemed small enough to fit into my pocket. Finally, Ranchod made a tentative approach. "Now look here, don't get angry. When we meet a stranger, we always ask him his caste. This is the way in our country. I have as good as rented you the room. Will 5 rupees a month be okay? Devji interrupted. Brother, one can eat mud with a caste brother, but one shouldn't attend a feast with someone of a lower caste. Man like you is not going to live with some poverty-stricken Dheds, is he? Nor are you going to lose what you have earned by living with thieves. You shouldn't speak that way in front of me, a new citizen of New Bharat. We are all creators of new nation. There are no Dheds, no poor, no Brahmin. My mistake. Indeed a mistake. A mistake indeed. Words like that made a rich country like ours into a beggar. Got it? Yes, but what about the room? Will you take it? Ranchod was almost begging in his desperation. I will think about it and let you know. Think? Think about what? It's a lovely room. There is a well near it, full of sweet water and mango trees around it. Every day you will see birds, birds of many colors, and you will have bird song. Do we have a deal? His helplessness and his desperate self-speech pleased me so much that I agreed. Delighted, he issued an immediate invitation. Let's have a tea together. Go on ahead, I will follow, I said. He obeyed, taking all the people he had with him. When we had crossed a line of railway bogies, ducking under some, skipping past others that were being shunted away, we come to a greasen-laden, soot-stained wagon in which they had a canteen that served tea and snacks. There wasn't much room to sit inside. Even so, he rushed in and waved me to enter, and just as he was doing this, what should I hear but a voice like a cruel crack of a pistol shot? Mahar, Mahar? Ranchod asked, turning his head and shrinking into himself. And my mind, which had been soaring like a Garuda, was brought crashing to the ground. The joy washing over my body dried up. The tingly bubbles in my bloodstream evaporated. The words of our earlier conversation danced like a demon in front of my eyes. I stood there, rooted to the spot, like a stone rammed into the earth. Someone in the canteen had found me out. He had picked me out as one might pick out a stone from raw rice. Even as I saw, trying to decide how to surmount this question, Ranchod question fell upon my ears. Tiwari, what does Mahar means? And Tiwari replied from his half knowledge. Mahar means Maharashtrian. They are like Shivaji, the great warriors. No Panditji, not like that. I am one of Ambedkar's party, of his caste. My name is Kashinath Sakpal of Mumbai Kala Chowki. Kashinath's rising voice inspired me, heartened me. The panic that invaded my heart quietened. But Tiwari got it. Oh, he got it. Means an untouchable? You are right on target, Pandit Bhaiji, said Kashinath with a singer, and Tiwari roared in a rage, smashed the dirty head. Get him! They screamed, all those sitting in the canteen. Kashinath sat down, the cup that had just touched his lip. He stuck both his hands in his pocket, cocked his head, inflated his chest, and roared at them, a powerful, sensational roar. Come on then, let's have you. Tiwari, you come on. Hey Ranchod, oi oldies, you come on too. Hey Fasto, that means you too. Come on, all of you. You of you. However many of you. 1, 2, 3, come on then. No one got up. They sat there, frozen, fearful, staring at Kashinath. Kashinath began to feel the courage he was showing. He warned them arrogantly. I am off then. I will tell your foreman a thing or two about the Constitution of India, and that will land you all in jail. I will get you thrown out of your jobs. Out you will go like ants flicked away. He strode out, his step like a thunder, still spewing, still railing, ranting, talking big. Inside all the men were terrified into silence. Of them all, Nanaji Panchal, a hirsute black man, looked the most uncomfortable. He was looking straight at the foreman's office, and then he broke the spell. Jumping to his feet, he shouted, "Arey run! That untouchable from Mumbai can't get to the foreman, or we will lose our jobs. We will be screwed. Run!" Grumbling and grunting, they bumbled out. Seeing how scared they were, Tiwari shouted, "Sit down. I'm here. I will talk to my brother and straighten him out. Sit down." Since his brother was the foreman clerk, this reassured some of them. They even began to speak again. Then every man check of them was spewing filthy abuse and began to walk toward the engine shed. They were conspiring to get rid of Kashinath, and I was so disheartened, so saddened, so reduced by their rage that I decided to return to Mumbai without further ado. I felt disgusted and disturbed, but then I remembered how poor we were, and like a sick ox, I lowered my head and made for the foreman's office. Seeing my bowed head and disordered gait, Devji approached me. "Thakur, are you all right? You're running a fever. Give me your bag." "Go on then. You have to become that untouchable senior. He is as terrifying as ghost. I will look after your bag. There are also thieves around these parts, and they are mostly these untouchables." "No need." I was terrified because I had hidden my caste and I could see his caste prejudices clearly. So I refused his support and encouragement. I was now the condemned man walking to the gallows. I made it to the steps of the foreman's office somehow and stood a while, lost in thoughts, all awareness of the body abandoned. And then running down the stairs, victory in his bouncing bound, come Kashinath. His speed shocked me. I grabbed his arm and said, "Wait, tell me." But Kashinath was whirlwind now. He freed himself with a jerk and pulling the knife out of his pocket, he said, "Get away from me. I will finish you off." "Aho, I only wanted to hear what you went through. I'm also from Mumbai like you." Ranchod was now within a earshot, so I did not complete the sentence as I had meant to, "and of your caste as well." He told me, shouting, crushing, abusing, and then he was off again at the pace of the dust devil. I was so enraged at hearing about the indignities heaped upon him that I climbed the stairs, determined to quit my job in protest, like a condemned man with the noose around his neck. I went and stood near the desk of Mata Prasad Tiwari, foreman clerk. Next to Mata Prasad Tiwari, perched on stool, was Ramcharan Tiwari. Both brothers' faces were red with rage. There was violence in their eyes. I looked at them and prepared for war, prepared to die. "Hey, what were you saying to that unruly untouchable?" "To shatter this arrogance to pieces," I said. "Who is untouchable?" "Fire is untouchable, the sun is untouchable, death is untouchable. The 5 basic elements in their ideal forms are untouchable." "What do you mean, all this Mumbai talk?" Since I had no care to keep my job, my words had the sharpness of sword. "I am from Mumbai. I am graduate of the University of the Revolution. The people whom Manu rejected, whom he would have consigned to the dust heap, who brought this great country its freedom, were those from my city. I am one of those great worker warriors. My hands, the wheels of Bharat progress. I said in chest Sanskritized Hindi. What? He asked gobsmacked. Ramcharan's eyes filled with surprise. I repeated my answer. Don't listen to that untouchable and serve me that city shit. He said, I am Mata Prasad. I had decided to shed his blood and let the job go. So I said, I am artisan of the new joy of the common man. I am a warrior in the cause of humanity. I am willing to give my life for it. I have a name. I have a city, Mumbai. Not talking shit, I said. I merely recite the new mantra of a new nation. With a new language, I inscribe a new nation. Shut up, talk sense, or this is a sense. I am a citizen worker. I am among those who will lead Manu's backward nation to glory. I am a poet. You? A poet? Ramcharan's face was flooded with a delight. He was gazing at me with a new admiration. I could not disappoint him. No way. Could I disappoint him? I said gently, Yes, Tiwariji. Wah, wah. Ramcharan hopped off his stool and advanced upon me, both hands extended to take mine. When the irascible Mata Prasad barked, Ramcharan! Throated Ramcharan sat down again, and Mata Prasad asked, disdain dripping from his voice, Your name? He dipped his pen into the ink pot, and suddenly I felt greedy for my job. And once again, thinking for my poverty-stricken home, I began to regret my earlier intemperate behavior. To hold on my job, I told him my name as politely and respectfully as possible. When he wrote down my name, I felt even sorrier for the way I had spoken to him. I felt so bad, I said, Forgive me. He was pleased by this, and taking the high road, he pretended to be as big as possible and said, You speak Hindi almost as well as we do? Like a Brahmin? Trying to match this display of generosity, I said as respectfully as possible, Sir, Hindi is the language of Tulsidas, of Kabir, of Niralaji and Premchand. This answer pleased the simple, sympathetic Ramcharan, and he smiled. Mata Prasad growled, Where are your certificates? I stood there, thinking for a moment, and then affecting an air of unconcern, I said sweetly, I forgot them at home. I wanted to see if I could get away with this. How much have you studied? Non-metric. I like art and literature too much. I want to study further. That's why our people remain backward. That's why these low caste, these chamars and the like get ahead. They became officers, even ministers. They have so many facilities in the railway that tomorrow, if that low caste Kashinath wants, he can become a clerk. He too is non-metric. You will both begin as a cleaners, but one day he will rise to foreman, to driver, to controller. So get those certificates sent to you. Understood? Yes, sir, I said, oozing false humility. I slammed him and decided that if no one mentioned the certificate again, I wasn't going to bother showing them. Go. You come after him, but I have still made you the senior. Ranchod told me about you. And look, don't hang around with Ramcharan too much. Poetry has ruined him. Off with you now. I come down and was about to pick up my trunk when Ramcharan popped up to took it from my hand. Hand it over. You are my guru from this day forth. You must explain poetry to me. This display of devotion frightened me a little, but he continued talking to me with a great happiness, as if he had encountered Lord Rama. My own spirit, so accustomed to insult, so sickened by it, began to blossom. I was forgetting my error, and just as I began to talk to him on these easy terms, the rage-rich voice of Kashinath fell upon my defenseless ear and began to drag me back until I stopped. I am a Mahar, but that doesn't mean I'm going to clean human shit and piss from the walls. That's just what you will have to do. You will clean it up, said the low caste Mukadam, merely following Mata Prasad's orders. Ramcharan saw this and was happy, and I could not longer conceal my unease. Kashinath was facing down the Mukadam and shouting in his face. Many workers had gathered to watch the fight. They were encouraging the Mukadam to stand his ground, and in order to prevent Kashinath from losing his job on the very first day, I went up to the Mukadam and said, "These menial jobs should not be given to educated workers. You should assign these tasks to those who have no skills." Tiwari interrupted angrily, "Which means the poor old uneducated Brahmin should do them? A veritable sage?" Many of the spectators were happy at this answer and turned to me. Some looked at me with suspicious eyes. Those words, "a veritable sage," had hurt, but I made up no reply. I was afraid of those suspicious eyes, but since I had to say something in return, I said, "Tiwari, the youth of this country have always been its priceless and immortal wealth. With 5 elements, they represent the 6 forces. Our unfortunate and poor country is the only one that treats them with such disrespect, which is why you see nothing but sorrow in all 10 directions." No one liked what I said. Contrariwise, many seemed to be bubbling over with the desire to ask what my caste was. Saying this, a bomb exploded in my stomach. My heart was breaking, thinking about Kashinath, but he was still fighting with great determination. The Mukadam was not at liberty to listen, and all the workers had turned against the Kashi. There was an urge of pain in my heart as I come forward to say something.